You know what really hurts? When you give someone your time, your everything, your loyalty, your energy, and they don't even notice. They just always take it for granted, like it's always going to be there, no matter what. And sadly, most people never realize what they have until it's gone. And right now, I know that might feel like your reality, feeling undervalued and just not really appreciated because you gave everything you had and they still chose not to see your worth. I just want to tell you that the pain that you're carrying, it's not a weakness. It's actually a very big sign. It's a sign that you actually cared. It's a sign that your emotions and your feelings were actually real. I've spoken to quite a lot of people, about the relationships, and I can say that with, a lot of confidence that a large majority of them felt just underappreciated. This is guys and girls, and that was mostly why things ended between them. They just didn't feel valued for what they gave. Because, how often do we do this thing where we just go around other people, giving pieces of ourselves to others who don't even realize what they're being given? So I just want you to remember that that's not on you, that's on them. Because when we ask ourselves, what do we truly want in a relationship? It usually comes down to two things. One, to be happy, and two, to be seen, truly seen for who we are as a person. We want to be understood. We want someone to notice the little things as well as the big things. We want them to notice when we start turning into Doctor Strange and start thinking of a million different possibilities of every situation, also called overthinking. We want them to say thank you. I just appreciate the fact that, we always make sure that other people are okay, even when we're not really feeling great ourselves. And how, you show up. You show up for them, even when you can't show up for yourself. We just want those things to be noticed. I don't think you're asking for much there. Honestly, when you want those things, when you say those things, when you just want your effort to be seen, don't you? And that's absolutely okay. And I really want to drill this home, is that it's not your fault if they don't see it. If the other person is so stuck and so focused on themselves that they can't see the things that you're doing for them, well then, that's a them problem and not a you problem. And it's definitely a their loss and not yours. In all of this, there's another big thing. Because just because that certain someone didn't notice you, it doesn't mean that no one else out there will either. There will be someone. There'll be someone that'll be right for you. Because you don't need to change who you are to be worthy of love. Because they couldn't see the value that you brought to the table. Because your quirks, your strong features, your low moments, it's all what makes you, well, you. Don't change that. And honestly, believe me, there is someone out there who's going to see it. There'll be someone who'll notice all these things, who'll care so much. You'll feel like you're just a part of a drama on Netflix when you kind of think this is a real thing. I actually have this person in my life. Honestly, believe me that one day that person is going to come around. Don't know when, don't know where from, don't know how far away they are, but they will. It got me thinking, and it's actually pretty painful to think how a large majority of relationships do end because of just lack of appreciation from the other person. It's not down to some, big betrayal or maybe even something violent. It genuinely just is the other person not being seen, not being heard, being ignored, when quite realistically, that could be fixed by a conversation or just listening. So I hope that puts some comfort in you. And I hope that prevents you from putting all the blame on yourself, because that's not the case. And I really need you to remember is that what you wanted wasn't too much, okay? What you wanted was normal. What you wanted was fine. It's not absurd to want to be cared for, so don't think that it is. It's probably gonna feel, a little lonely for a little while. You will have so much more time on your hands that you probably won't know what to do with it, but I think you'll be all right. Because think about it. You'll finally have the time to sit down and open up that book you've been putting off. You can boot up the PlayStation without feeling guilty. You can just jump on, do what you want for however long you want. Or maybe you want to work more, earn a bit more money, and get yourself something nice because you can finally treat yourself, because you'll finally have the time and the money to do that. It's not all bad. And whilst you're doing all of that, having a good time, healing, getting better, they will realize what they've lost. But by then, it's going to be too late. Just let them sit with it. Let them think on that. And whatever you do, don't go back. Things are good now. They're only going to get better. So do not let them take that away from you for the second time. I will really want you to focus on the fact that you are enough the way you are. You should not shrink yourself to adapt to them again. Once was enough. You don't need to put yourself through that twice, because you're going to be back to begging for recognition and questioning your own value. And I don't want you to go through that, because the right person is going to care for you for who you are, you exactly the way you are, not of some fake realities and expectations from that other person from the past, for who you are. Remember that. And until then, just give yourself the time. Love yourself the way you want to be loved. Care for yourself the way you want to be cared for. Enjoy life and focus on the good stuff. The bad stuff will dip in and out as it does. That's just life, isn't it? It's never going to be sunshine and rainbows, but a lot of it is up to you. So if you're sitting here feeling like you weren't enough, trust me, one day they will regret it. They'll look back and realize what they had, but you won't, because by then you're going to be somewhere else having a good fucking time, because your worth was never up for debate. So stay true to yourself and keep looking forward. And as always, I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.